Welcome back to the Highway 49 podcast. We are back with episode 126 of the show. Again, the HP Squared edition. We'll have Aaron Fearne on the pod here in just a little bit to talk kind of everything Charlotte men's basketball. We get into the GOAT debate a little bit. Didn't expect that with Coach Fearne today. Talk a little bit about gardening and a little bit of college basketball. So that was a fun interview. Good to get him laughing and smiling a little bit on this pod. But as always, before we kick things off, we're gonna hit the best thing we've seen this week. Hannah, I'm gonna start first, and I'm gonna zag.
Sure.
Worst thing I've seen this week:
Ooh, okay.
the the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry.
Dude,
I'm sorry.
off off the rip, that was criminal.
All right, so it's been a fun season, and they're still 500. It's not over by any means, but I went to that game as a fan, and I if you walk into a bar in the city of Charlotte, 1 in 4 people here are from the Northeast, like specifically Buffalo. Like my old roommate that I work with is from Buffalo. So many of my friends are. And then you get in that stadium and I'm looking around and it's 80% Buffalo, 20% Panthers. And I'm like, what is this? Like I know the red just stands out,
Yeah.
but getting heckled in your own home stadium in the second quarter when I'm like not even a like I
You're not
root for
even
the
a true
Panthers, but
Panthers.
I'm an Eagles fan, yeah. So I'm in there like, oh. So worst thing, watching Andy Dalton play football, but it sounds like they figured out that Rico Dowdle needs to run the rock. So excited for that. Sorry to come out swinging like that, but that made my brain hurt exponentially bad. But Hannah, what is the best or worst thing you've seen this week?
Well, that was obviously the worst because I watched that game.
God.
I was like, what the heck are we doing? And I looked into the crowd. I obviously didn't go to the game because it was a little too expensive for my liking. Um, and it
No, it
was just
was I had
a
free
sea,
tickets.
a
Yeah.
sea of Bills fans. I was like, it looks like a Bills home game. And I'm like, this is horrible. But I mean, the Panthers on such a great roll, and then we just go out and we do that sorry performance. And I'm like, we came in with a better record than the Bills. And I'm like, what are we doing? But it happens and we will bounce
Yeah.
back. And I'll just, do what Coach Albin was saying, and I'll just do the Men in Black thing. And
Yeah, we're not gonna splinter.
yeah, we're gonna forget about it. It never happened. Best thing though, I lead a youth group at church. And last night we had Halloween night, so we did costume party. I dressed up as a deer, and my best friend was a hunter, so that was fun. So a lot of different fun costumes. The kids were really creative. So just overall, just a really good time. I'm not normally one that always dresses up for Halloween. I have a game on Friday, and the broadcast wants to dress up, so I'm trying to think of who I'm gonna
Told you,
be.
dude, Trevor Lawrence.
I
Just get
know,
a teal headband.
I
Yeah.
should do it.
Let it
We'll
fly.
see.
I guess shoulder pads.
But
I'm
yeah,
going.
it'll be fun. But
Yeah.
speaking of Friday nights, I mean, last Friday, not a very
Oof.
good day for Charlotte football. I was working that game, so I didn't have a chance to really watch it in detail. But Hunter, what did you see? And just your overall takeaways from that North Texas game.
Yeah, dynamite segue, by the way. That's kind of I don't even know where to start with this game. It was incredibly fun in the first half, which can't really say for a ton of these games. And for the rest of this pod, my voice is like cracking and I've been sick, had a sinus infection. So I actually stayed home and worked this game from home, just watched it on TV. And I'm texting with Joe, the SID, when Charlotte goes up 17 to 7. Grayson Loftus hits Javen Nicholas for like a 60 plus yard touchdown to go up 10 points, the biggest lead of the season. And I'm texting Joe, like, maybe it's me. Maybe. That's how I
Am
felt when
I the bad luck charm?
Yeah, that's how I felt when Charlotte went to Maryland the first year under Poggi, and I had the stomach flu, didn't make the trip, and they're up 14 to 0 in the first quarter, and I'm like, it's me. Like if I would have been there, they would get blown out. But surely enough,
It's not you.
uh, yeah, this game turned around very fast. Joe joked about revoking my credentials if it was going to mean they would play better, and I agree, Joe. If they're going to play like that in the first half against every team, I don't even need to be there if they're going to do that. But yeah, this game was a tale of really three quarters and then the fourth quarter. Um, Charlotte came out swinging in this game. It was a lot of missed opportunities. North Texas was up 7-3 and dropped a wide open touchdown. I mean, there's no one within 10 yards of their receiver, and he drops the ball. North Texas ends up punting, and Charlotte would take the lead from there. But even Charlotte missed some opportunities. Like Derek Ely dropped a really long pass. I don't know. He would have scored. He might have taken a really big hit, which is why I think ultimately he dropped the ball. But Charlotte and North Texas kind of traded mistakes early, and then, like I say, Charlotte really kicked it into gear, trailing 7-3. It was a 4th and 1. We've talked about that kind of mentality shift for Charlotte of keeping the offense on the field instead of settling for that 50-ish yard field goal. They let Grayson Loftus cook there in the first half, and his little option route to Javen Nicholas, like I say, 4th and 1, breaks a 33-yard touchdown, and Charlotte's out front. And I'm thinking, okay, I mean, this is a 5-1 North Texas team. It just kind of felt like the dam would break eventually, but Charlotte continued to battle back. They get another stop. And like I say, Grayson Loftus hits, yeah, 64-yard touchdown to Javen, who just has a monstrous first half. I mean, 100 plus yards and a couple scores in the first half alone. And I'm looking at the scoreboard and it's 17-7. And I hate it for the Charlotte crowd, I guess, for this one. Sub 10,000 people, I think a little over 9,000. So not their best crowd for this game, but it was the best kind of home game against an FBS team so far. But then, like I said, it kind of felt like the dam was going to break, and it was trending this direction. North Texas gets right back in the game, ties it at 17, and it feels like they're about to go 2 for 1 around the half. And Tim Alvin's talked a ton about the middle eight and just losing games on it, close games turn to blowouts, and I was just kind of waiting for it. And this one just muscle memory, watched the same thing, and it was a total flip. So Keeb Talib's nephew Yamil Talib with a pick, dropping from the defensive end position out into coverage, picks off Drew Mestamaker as one of his few mistakes on the day. And then right out of the half, North Texas is driving again. Seems like they're going to take control of the game. Colin Gill uh, just rips the ball, just straight snatches his chain basically, and gives Charlotte life. The 49ers would take a 20-17 lead on a 20-yard field goal with 8 minutes to go in the third. And I'm thinking, okay, if the defense is going to play like this,
Yeah.
they're just giving up ridiculous amounts of yards, though. But it was like this bend but don't break mentality. But then finally, the dam broke. Charlotte was down 27-20 at this point. North Texas had the momentum. Charlotte's offense was pretty much lifeless. But Tim Albin went for a fake punt, 4th and 11 on his own 23. And it sounds bad, but people want me to say how this was a Biff Poggi-esque coaching move. This was a dumb decision, blah, blah, blah. Would I have ran a fake punt on my own 4th and 11? No. But did he 100% know that that snowball was snowballing and they were fried?
Yeah.
Yes. He 100% knew that North Texas was offense that heated up, so that was their only chance. And he took the chance, ran the exact same fake punt that they had ran against Temple, the prior week, and it worked in that game. It was a much shorter situation, shorter yardage, and a better field position moment. But I don't hate the call, and I'll tell you all that, like, you know, and I think you realize. So North Texas played a good bit of man in the first half, and Charlotte was cooking like that. The touchdown to Javen Nicholas, the 33-yard touchdown, even the 64-yard touchdown were both man. And the 64-yard touchdown, Javen just made a great play. I mean, that was just a great ball from Loftus. But in the second half, North Texas kind of went away from that man coverage, which Charlotte was winning, which is good to see, and went into a zone, more of that zone defense, make Charlotte beat them, make them go through the progressions. And I think that's where Loftus is struggling right now because they couldn't do anything. Charlotte ran 21 plays after taking that 20-17 lead. 21 plays the rest of the game. 5 punts, a fake punt that didn't result in a first down, and 26 total yards. So, fourth quarter meltdown, North Texas trailing 20-17 wins the game 54-20. Like I say, I don't blame the entire game on the fake punt. Like I say, would I have done it? Maybe not. But when you know, I mean, you're pretty much in the way of a oncoming train, and you have to do something to get out of the way. He tried something. I don't hate the call. I hated watching that fourth quarter because, like I say, it goes from a fun game to North Texas goes field goal, touchdown, 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 game's over. So 54 to 20. Drew Messamaker passes for 608 yards, which is the most in North Texas history, the most in the American Conference history. Uh, it was tough, and it was tough to watch. I mean, he just shredded the Charlotte defense in that second half. 754 yards of total offense is just ridiculous. But a couple of highlights for the 49ers. Grayson Loftus played his best game. I mean, 20 of 36, 295, two touchdowns. The biggest thing for Charlotte, zero turnovers. Goose egg in the turnover margin for the first time this season, and they actually had two takeaways. So shout out Jerry Cobb, 13 carries for 59 yards. Javen Nicholas, seven catches on nine targets, buck 87, two touchdowns. That's his second game like that this season. Shout out to him. Like I said, the defense just had a rough day, a rough go of it. And I know texting with you during the game. I mean, we're talking in the second quarter, like, okay. And then you
Yeah.
check the score in that fourth quarter. Hannah, what was your reaction when you saw the final?
It's like, what the heck happened? I finished my game and I was like,
Yeah.
what went wrong?
Yeah. And like I say, like people want me to shred him about this fake punt, but I
No.
get it. You know that the dam is broken and you're doing everything you can. Like had they not had they punted the ball right there, I think North Texas still scores. The game still goes how it goes. It might not get as ugly because we just gave them such a short field, but it was a wild decision. I'll say that. And I was texting Sam Perry. I was like, dude, you got to ask about this fake punt because, like I say,
Yeah.
I was at home, so I wasn't in the post game. And I had some people message me about a sideline kind of issue with some players and coaches. I wasn't there to ask that question. I'll dive into that at the presser the next time we see them because they're off this week. So I'll get some answers on stuff like that because that's not the type of stuff you want to see at this point in the season. But Charlotte is officially eliminated from bowl contention. Tough is what it is. We kind of knew it was coming,
Yeah.
and now they're on a bye week this week. They finish at ECU, which I won't be at that game sadly. Fall weddings, and then home for UTSA, the final home game, which I think we'll both be there for that one.
Mhm.
And then at Georgia and at Tulane. So a fun end to the season is on the way. Um, but guess what? It's basketball season. So
Yeah.
that's why you're all here. So appreciate
That'll be
y'all
fun.
sitting through that little recap of the Charlotte game. Hannah, talk to us a little bit about this interview with Fern. What were some of your favorite moments with this?
Yeah, I mean, I always love catching up with Coach. He's one of those guys that's what you see is what you get. I love that about him. He's so real, so honest. For me, I respect the heck out of him, obviously, continuing to build with what he has as guys move on from the program and he obtains new guys and how he develops the culture. He told us he's not kind of rebuilding, he's restarting the culture. And I think that's so important, especially in this league and just with the opponents that we'll be facing in the American and especially before in non-conference. Uh, but obviously, we won't know how this team is going to be until they get going. And I mean, they start up next Monday. They had the exhibition match and they obviously dominated. But he said you got to be playing your best basketball at the best time, and that's so true. I'm just hoping that it is a tough, gritty team. I mean, they needed size. They need somebody who can be the spark plug. Every year, I feel like we'll get a guy. He is the face of the team. He is that guy, and then he moves on. So it's like kind of we're in this limbo period of who's going to be that guy. Is this team going to have multiple Nick Graves? Are we going to have another Ali Khalifa? Are we going to, you're looking for some bit of hope, some bit of culture identity to rally behind, really, I think is what Niner Nation is looking forward to. So I think we got some answers, and hopefully you guys will appreciate this podcast headed into the season.
Definitely. And Charlotte had a secret scrimmage I only have a couple of details. I don't have a full box score. It's against Liberty. Damani Harrison, a transfer in from Southern Indiana, kind of that combo guard, 6'4", led the team with 20 points, and then returnee Ben Bradford out here hooping with 16. So it sounds like a big second year jump for him. And Fern talks a little bit about that on this pod. So little nugget there as we go ahead and get to Aaron Fearne. But as always, appreciate y'all tuning in to the Highway 49 pod. Be covering a little bit more basketball here to open the season, so you'll hear from us more. Hannah will be on the sidelines this year, which I love to see. So as always, appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll be back. Coach Fern, it's we were just talking offline, back for the annual podcast spot. Appreciate you taking the time to make time for us, man.
No problem. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. It's basketball's tipping off in less than a week here in Halton. They open Indiana State on Monday, November 3rd. It's getting spooky. Coach, what are you going to be for Halloween, man? You got one final weekend before basketball season?
Man, I don't do none of that. We do a little bit of that in Australia, but not really. That's more an American thing. Um, but yeah, I know our neighborhood will be pretty busy. Hopefully this rain stays away that we've had the last few days, which I think it's starting to clear up. So that'll be good for the kids and the parents that get into that. But no, just preparing for this game.
Yeah, I could see you maybe giving out candy and teaching the kids some post moves or something, shooting candy in the buckets or something like that.
Yeah, I
But
mean, maybe my wife. I mean, she's a teacher, so she'll get into all that type
yeah,
of stuff.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so
definitely,
you know, I
definitely
don't know
will.
if they're doing some Halloween thing at school either. She might head off to school one day looking like something, maybe not, but we'll see.
Yeah, I might dress up as Biff Bougie tomorrow. Got
There you go.
awesome cigar,
That'd be
yeah.
crazy.
Well, sticking with spooky topics, we're just gonna get out of the way first, and then we're gonna talk this year's team. But the university moved on from athletic director Mike Kill. I know you've known Mike for as long, I think as long as you've been here.
Yeah.
I guess just obviously a big shakeup at the top. The big deal with that seems to be NIL. I'm just curious to your thoughts. Obviously, business is always business.
No, you're right. I mean, business is business. I mean, it's unfortunate, like you said. I've known Mike since I've been here. So I've been through a lot together, and um, he's obviously been very successful here with, the success of the programs. Football and basketball still got some ways to go to get to where a lot of the other sports are here on campus, if I'm being real. So we know we got to be better at both those areas. But we all know that those areas are so much driven by the resources you can provide the athletes to bring them into your program. That's just the way it is too. So, and look, the other sports too. I mean, they need those resources as well, because it just continues to keep going that way. It's going up and
Yep.
up and up, and it won't stop, because there's no guidelines in anything with this. So, yeah, unfortunate. You know, he's been really good to me. He obviously really took a gamble on me during that interim phase, and being an international coach, and forever grateful for him to believe in me and giving me an opportunity to lead this program and continue it to grow. And so yeah, I mean, we'll obviously keep in touch, and I wish him and his family all the best for sure. And he'll be back doing what he does very soon. I'm sure he will
Oh
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I wish him all the best.
Well, Coach, shifting gears to this season, want to talk a little bit about last season. Year two didn't quite go as expected, but we saw some flashes from some of the young guys, and you got another year under your belt. In the portal this off season, what did you want to address specifically, and how do you think your staff did in comparison to that, to the rest of the American?
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk quickly on last year. I thought the guys' commitment for the season was outstanding. Extremely proud of their everyday approach to just trying to get better. And They played some better basketball at the end of the year, which was great to see. That wouldn't have happened if they hadn't have stayed mentally engaged, and which is they should be very proud of themselves for that. Sometimes you don't get the wins and losses you want, but um, it was still a emotional locker room after that last game, and just showed you how tight they were as a team, which is awesome, and they'll remember that. Trust me, I've coached teams that have won that haven't been that close in the locker room. I've coached teams that haven't won much and are really close in the locker room. I think that reflects your culture. So that's the first thing I'll say on that. Look, we knew moving forward we needed to get bigger, we need to get more athletic, we needed to get longer. Um, we need more depth, and I think we've done that with this group. So adding that comes more problems, right? Because you've got more depth and more guys want to play and contribute, and what's their role? So we're going to have to continue to keep working through that as we navigate through the season. But um, guys have been really good. We've worked really hard on the culture piece, which you're going to have to continue to do every day with so many new players. Um, we've got some guys that can do some things off the dribble. We've got some size in the paint that can play above the rim. Um, like anything, a lot of teams in this country are, and we're no different, very transactional. So you can change pretty quickly. You can be pretty good, not be very good, not be very good, and then be pretty solid or really good. Like it just changes so much. So you're a little unsure on who you play, but I think the one thing you have to demand from your group is they've got to come out and play unbelievably hard and be very, very competitive as you navigate through. And then the goal is right at the end of the year. You know what I mean? I even felt 2 years ago we obviously would play pretty good ball in the middle part of the season, but we kind of tailed off at the end and it hurt us. You got to be playing well at the right time, and that's the goal of this group.
Definitely. And sticking on some of the newcomers, two-part question for Dezane Mingo coming in from Marshall. Not necessarily a high volume three-point shooter, but a great passer, really good getting 2 feet in the lane, putting a lot of pressure on the rim. First part, talk about his game and kind of what he brings to the backcourt. And then second part, talk about what it's like picking up the point guard position on your team, and in your offense. Because in my mind, I think of guys like Nick Graves, Lakai, Jameer Young, guys that maybe were in the system for a couple years and then really kind of started to excel that second year. But talk about what it's like picking up, and kind of excuse me, setting the table in your offense.
Yeah, look, Dezane's really talented. He can kind of do a bit of everything, score it, move the ball, rebound. Um, he'll really compete. Um, like any of those guys that come to our program, they've got to continue to grow. He's no different. Um, those guys you mentioned obviously really did that and went on and played Power Four basketball and really played well. Um, so yeah, we expect a lot from him. I know he expects a lot from himself. Um, and then ultimately you got to go out and perform, right? And so he's going to need to bring that for this group. He did it last year on a good team in a really good league. I mean that league was really really competitive. Like they had four teams finished in first place, and I think they finished a game out of like a four team tie for first or something like that. So, but the lesson there, right? Every game matters, every possession matters because you can win a league or not win a league on a game or a possession here. So we've talked to our guys about that a lot. Um, Selecting a point guard for our group is really important for me. Um, I think it needs to be a real extension of me as the head coach. I think they've got to really be able to think the game. They've got to set the table for the team, pick their moments when they need to go make plays, or we put them in those situations to go make plays. So he's going to have to do a really good job of that. Um, but as will Raul, as will Major Freeman, those guys that'll play a lot of the point guard position. Ben Bradford will carry more responsibilities in those situations. So they got to be a good thinker of the game, which those guys are, which really helps.
And then to look at some of the guys from last season, not too many guys back from last year. I mean, talk about Ben Bradford and Kylan Blackman's development as well as Andrew Bailey and just kind of the role that they have this season.
Yeah, I thought Ben had a sensational offseason. I think he's made some gigantic improvements. It's been impressive to see his mental approach, his everyday intent has been excellent. Um, he's added a lot of tools to his bag. Um, his perimeter shooting's really improved. He's very determined. He's worked on his body. I remember a year ago when he came in as a freshman, like he was kind of a late addition. We weren't really expecting a lot. He was just grateful to be in a Division I program. He didn't have too many options. And now he's stormed to the front of the line and, he's going to be a big part of our group. KB the same, obviously got a heck of a lot of opportunity last year and did some really good things, and he's worked really hard in the weight room. Um, he's going to have to go out and really defend for us. He's going to have to use his size to really do that. So, he's going to have a big role there, and just both of them just being around the program, they kind of know how I operate. I try and put a lot of responsibility on the players to really drive the team and the culture of the team. It, I don't know, it frustrates me a little bit that they all want to. A lot of teams and players these days want to be kind of told what to do, and I don't want to develop them that way. Like I want them to develop their own behaviors that they understand help you succeed in anything you do than me just dictating all the time to everything they got to do. And they're like robots. They can't operate like that. So we work hard on that, and those two obviously can help really drive that. Andrew back for another year is a walk on, but his size, his athleticism, he's got a great personality around the group. He's unbelievably humble, improved a heck of a lot since he's been here, which has been awesome. He's obviously an excellent student. He's working on his master's degree right now. Like he's going to be a super successful guy. Nick coming back from that double Achilles surgery, he's going to have to slowly keep working through it with him as well. Um, he's not there yet with that, but he's getting there. Just needs to get back to his real explosive self and, um, because he's a big, strong kid that can, really go out and defend at times and do some good things, and he'll be a good finisher around the rim. So, yeah, we don't have too many returning, so it makes it more challenging, which I think that's a challenge for all us coaches in the country right now is I know a lot of people talk about this as being pro hoops, but this is not pro hoops. This is different than that. Pro hoops is not free agency every year for every player. So you always have at least half your squad coming back. Like that's not even the case for a lot of programs. And those programs that do have that, they have a massive advantage. And we'll have to try and catch up to those programs that have that already.
Yeah, we've talked about that topic specific with football too, is you don't know who's coming back. You've got to re-recruit your team pretty much every, through the off season, and now the portal windows are changing, and we can get to that in a minute. But you talked about sizing up this off season, getting some guys down low. That was when I think back to the American Conference tournament last year. That's kind of what did you guys in at the end. So talk about some of the additions to the front court and I guess second part to that question. You've kind of used a center or power forward or whoever as a hub of the offense at times in years past. Who kind of fits that bill in this offense?
Yeah, we're doing some stuff differently on the offensive end, but the ball still goes through the big guys a lot. We'll play a little faster. The ball will pop a lot quicker. You'll see that obviously when you sit and watch. You'll see it right away. Um, but we've added, like G was super skilled, right? He was really
Yep.
skilled. He was a high level passer, big time competitor, and a winner. He's come from a winning program. But probably not big enough, and we didn't have enough size around him to
Yep.
counter that. This year we're a lot bigger, Kawel Meding 6'11", Anton Bonk 7'2", Gomez is 6'10" and about a 7'5" wingspan. You got Ethan Butler, who's big, strong, about 6'7", long arms, really powerful, athletic. Um, so you got
Anton Bonk might be my favorite name in the conference too. Just a cool name.
Yeah, it is. You got Spencer Elliott, long, athletic. As we talked about with Nick Rehart, like long, strong, powerful. Like so we've got some good size in that there. Now they're going to have to emerge. A lot of them haven't had gigantic roles where they've been, so we're going to have to put a lot of work into our development, and they'll slowly just have to get more and more comfortable as we go through the season. But we can just play different. We can play above the rim. We can power it inside. Um, they're going to have to be good making decisions and getting into a lot of DHO and stuff action like that, zoom action. But yeah, it's just the other end, which we couldn't do last year. We couldn't rebound well enough and we couldn't protect the rim. So when you go to the rim against us now, it's different. There's a bit of a wall back there. Um, and we're longer on the perimeter. We got more size on the perimeter. We're longer, bigger, but you still got to work together and get it done. There's a lot of other teams out there the same way. So it was just a little bit difficult last year when you're kind of starting behind the eight ball because you're just a little bit too small. You had to do a lot of things at a really high level, and our margin of error last year was very narrow, but yet we were really competitive in a lot of games. But you got to have some different makers to get you across the line.
Yeah, you had the chance to see your team on the hardwood for the very first time against an opponent. What did you see from them, actually playing in a game and being cohesive, gelling together? What did you see from the group that you're hoping to see continue to grow as you
Yeah,
progress?
I thought we played faster than we have. We're still not a team yet. You know what I mean? Like we're not just like that yet. And we know it. Um, it's not through a lack of trying. It's something that just takes some time. You're just trying to sort through the pieces and how do we fit the puzzle together, which will change probably a fair bit as we go through the season, but just really, really sacrificing and, as I say, it's submitting to the team. Like it's not you, it's us. Um, you know, there are numerous examples of guys out there that transfer into different programs that do submit to the team and sacrifice for the betterment of the team and the team successful. And they ultimately end up being really successful and um, end up playing at the highest level, and so um, we're not there yet with that. We're going to have to continue to keep working on it. Um, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and tell you that we're perfect because we're not. And if any team is, then they're lying. There's things you got to continue to work on, except for the teams that have a massive core of their group back. They'll be way ahead of everybody else. So, but I liked some things I saw. I mean, we've got to play against some real teams first, some really organized, talented teams that put you in some adversity. Your true character is not really revealed until your character's tested in some adverse situations. Either you're at home, you're down, you're in front of your home crowd, you're on the road, you're big crowd, other teams getting after you. Like, how's this group really going to react? Are we going to exhibit real positive behaviors or are we not? And, we're going to have to work through those things as they come up.
Definitely. And Coach, you said something that just made me wonder. So we've known you for a while, but I've never asked you something like this. You talk about putting the puzzle pieces together. Like, I know
Mhm.
you're a dude that eats, sleeps, breathes basketball. So are you like mowing the yard, thinking about different
Yep.
lineups? Are you?
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no doubt. I like to get out in the garden and take care of business, but that's kind of I don't know if it's quiet time because it ain't that quiet up here.
yeah.
You're planning things, you're working through things, you know, you just build working through scenarios that could this not, maybe, maybe not. Like, so you just, as we all are, we're no different. We're all us
Oh yeah.
coaches, right?
It's hard to turn
But
off.
it's impossible. Like I said to you offline, on vacation and you're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? So, but that's why we do what we do. We're a bit mad and crazy about it. But
Sickos.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you just ultimately, for me, I want the guys to be successful. Like I want them all individually to have success. I want them to have some fun. I do tell them though it's not going to be easy, and you're going to go through some really tough times. You're going to be coached hard. You're not going to perform the way you want to perform. You're criticized in the media. You've got family pressures. You've got internal team pressures. You're like this. This is not easy. Like this is really difficult. And they're students, and they got to take care of their academics, and the world of NIL. Like I know people talk about that stuff, but when the business stuff is done for me, I don't really care what you're making, I don't care about any of that. Like that's getting taken care of. You're getting paid on time. So that's all that business side needs to be. But ultimately they got to go perform. And I don't
Yep.
care if you're the highest paid player, you're getting paid nothing. I'm just going to play who's going to help us win. And that's pressure too. You know what I mean? That adds to that dynamic. So it's an interesting landscape, I can tell you.
I didn't know you gardened.
Hell yeah, big time.
What
Well,
is your gar what
I'm
does
a
your
farm
garden
boy.
consist
I'm
of?
a farm boy. I grew up on the farm. Like
I love that.
I
I love
grew up on
that.
the farm. My grandparents were massive farmers, and my my grandmother was a big gardener. Like, um, and so you just grow up doing that stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, I take care of my yard. Don't worry about that. People in
That is
my neighborhood that are 49er people, they see me out there all the time.
Oh yeah.
awesome. Oh, how did you were just talking about kind of piggybacking off of Hunter's question, but how do you as a coach, especially from last year to this year, knowing that you were going to have basically an all new group, how did you attack that, knowing that you had to kind of reset the culture this year? And how did you get the guys to kind of buy into that, especially with only a couple returners?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we have to reset it. I think you just kind of restart it. Like I like our culture. I like how we build it. I like the value of it. What our core values mean. To me, building culture is about establishing behaviors that are acceptable, right? And again, this gets back to my I don't want to dictate type situation. I don't want to dictate what I want those behaviors to be. I want them to verbalize to us as coaches what they want their behaviors to be, that they think are going to be successful behaviors. I say this all the time. How do you want to be seen? So when you're out there on Monday night at 8 o'clock and you're running up and down the floor, people that are sitting there, the student body, our basketball community that comes out to support. You're on TV, your parents, as family are sitting there. Like, how do they observe you? Like, are you being a super positive influence out there? You've got great body language, or are you not? And a lot of these guys want to go play high level hoops. Well, that's how you're evaluated. Like it's pretty easy to watch you on film and go, oh yeah, he can do this, he can do that, he can do this, he can do that. You can see that, but are you coachable? How do you deal with refereeing? How do you deal with an opponent getting after you verbally, physically, you know, mentally, emotionally? Like how do you deal with all that? How you deal with your own performance, good, bad, like you're no one's ever going to play outstanding every single game, but they all think they should. Well, that's not reality. And when they don't, then they dip like this and then they're like that. And I just don't like that type of stuff. So it's just educating all the new guys about that. Do I expect them to perform? Yes. Is their responsibility to perform? Yes. Will they? No, not every time. But it's their approach to it is the most important thing to it.
Definitely got to balance the parent thing of I'm not angry at you, I'm just disappointed versus
Right.
the other side, the success side. Curious, coach, this is kind of a big picture question. I can't remember if I've asked you this or not, but we've seen a lot of colleges around. I mean, even Davidson did it with Steph Curry in kind of a GM role, but stuff like that. I mean, is it Jameer Young a phone call away to come, work with the program and whatnot?
Uh, yeah, I think Jameer's on a two-way right now, I think, right?
Hey, he got some run against the Hornets the other night. It was good to see him in the game.
He did, and we're all obviously all unbelievably proud of him. I keep in touch with him, um, and just express that to him. I mean, from day one, he was just a model culture guy here. Worked his butt off, wanted to be coached, and proved a heck of a lot. Um, Did he outplay our level? Yeah, maybe. Well, yes. And so he went on to Maryland and, his first team, Big Ten, doing work at that level. And now he's in the NBA, like he's a step away from being a bona fide, legitimate, everyday NBA guy, which is awesome, man. Like it's awesome to see. Yeah, I know a lot of programs are doing those types of things. Where's this landscape really going? Like, is it going to become like privately owned teams or managed teams? Like in my opinion, probably needs to be. I think if it's going to really get into that space financially, because it just puts too much pressure on the universities. I think it needs to be more pro, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
You've got a massive naming rights sponsor that pumps millions of dollars into your program. Run, I don't know how I would word this. It's still part of the university, but run privately, maybe. I guess it's how you'd probably put it.
Yeah.
It's probably something that may end up going down that path. Um, we all know athletics is a huge part of the every university, right? It gives your school some recognition. It gives your student body something to really follow, um, be immersed in it, talk about it for years when you're at Thanksgiving and you're 55 years old and you reminisce back on those situations. That's what I want to do here. I want this program to be an every year thing that provides an awesome experience for the community and for the students. We had a little taste of that a couple of years ago, and we obviously had it many years ago, but it's not consistent
Right.
enough. We've got to get it to that point. Um, because we've got a great university here. It's massive. Um, we're in a really good league. We just got to be in we've got to be in every year deal, and we're not there yet, and we've got to be that. And like I mentioned earlier, basketball, and football, we got to we got to turn that around. We got to get that rolling.
Before Hannah gets to her question, to your point of the athletics providing that recognition, it just brought me back to when FAU made the Final Four a few years ago. They think they had
Right.
45,000 applications, like a almost
Yeah.
25%
Correct.
rise in years past. So I mean, it definitely, and they didn't even, bring home the national title, but they get there, get to that stage, have that notoriety, that level. So yeah, I completely agree. It's
It's got to be a massive pillar of your university,
yeah.
like it is around the country. A
Yeah.
lot a lot of students select the universities they want to go to because they want to be part of big time hoops, big time football.
What's
But
the tailgates like? Yeah.
there's a lot of mid-major schools that have unbelievable programs that students want to go to those schools to be part of that environment. And that's what I want here. That's priority number one.
Mm. And to kind of add on that to your point, when you look at the culture you build and kind of inspired with Fernbill, the Mine Shaft, the support from Niner Nation, just as you approach opening night, what's your message to them as you start your season?
Well, yeah, we need bums and seats. Let's be real. Oh, it gets back to the experience. Like we had an unbelievable turnout for that exhibition game from the student body. It was unreal. Well, let's double that for Monday night. Like we've got 32,000 students here. We can get 3,000, 5,000 students at a game every game. Like there should be no excuse for that. Um, we as a team got to provide a good entertainment. I think our university and marketing department need to provide unbelievable entertainment. Like it's got to be an entertaining environment. And when the two of them are really good, well, then you have a really good night. Um, so yeah, I'm going to put pressure on our student body to get out there, like get out there and get after it, like get after the opposition, make it an awesome environment, be loud, um, but have a lot of fun together as students in the crowd. Like have an awesome experience with that. And then the other side, well, the community's got to get their bums and seats too, and support us as well, not sit there on the fences and go, well, what's this going to be like? And if it's good, well, then I'll support it. Well, you're either in it or you're not, right?
Right.
So um, I expect that from them. I expect that from our students. I expect that from our community. No different that I expect our team to go out and play hard, play together, really compete. There's a lot of expectation all around, and it should be. That's the way it should be, right? Our community should expect a lot from us to provide an experience for them. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens on Monday night. We'll see who shows up and really
Yeah.
supports us, and um, we'll build it as the year goes on.
One thing Hannah's about to ask you about your opponent Monday night, but I need to know, Coach, how many players on your team know that Larry Bird went to Indiana State? Over or under, I'm setting it at four.
That's a good question. Would
Yeah.
50% of them know that he went there? I'll ask that question today. All right.
All right. Sounds
We'll see.
good.
We'll
Get
Yeah, you
back
see.
to
have to
me.
get back to us.
We'll have to see if they actually know that. This generation doesn't know anything. We debates about this all the time. The whole Jordan LeBron thing.
Yeah.
You know, they obviously love LeBron, and he's obviously been unbelievably successful for sure. Um, but they also don't know much about Michael Jordan either,
Yeah.
and they don't know how unbelievably dominant he was during that era.
NBA on NBC. We're getting some GOAT interviews now.
Exactly right, which is
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, back to your question, do they actually know where Larry Bird's from? They probably don't even know who he is, half of them. Nah, they would know who he is. I won't put that past them, but yeah, I'll ask that question today.
Obviously, you open up against Indiana State, like we mentioned. I mean, how is this a true test before the next week you play Davidson, which is obviously a rivalry game?
I mean, yeah, I think that opening night's going to be a tough one. I mean, they're a good program. They really have been, and they play in a really good league. So yeah, we're going to have to be on point. They're going to play fast. They're going to get up a lot of threes. They're going to try and spread us out, work off the cut, put pressure on the rim where they're cutting, and then obviously put pressure on the 3-point line, so we're going to have to be very connected the way we defend. Um, but again, they're a team with a lot of new faces too, so they're trying to work it out as well. Obviously, their head coach is going through some medical stuff, so he's going to be out for a little bit. I definitely wish him all the best. We don't like to see that in our industry at all. And obviously, number one is his health and obviously his family and being around with that. So he'll be back on the sideline, I'm sure. I'm sure he's itching right now to get back out there and be with his team. But, we wish him all the best with his recovery with that. But they'll still show up here Monday night and they'll get after it, and we're going to have to be ready to go, which our guys are excited to play. Um, so we'll see how it goes.
Definitely. I'll be out there for the first one. I know I'll be working that. And for Davidson, and I've been transparent on this pod, Coach. I'll tell you, they've got me in that freelance role. So I go where they tell me. But definitely looking forward to seeing this year's team getting back out there
That'd be
and
awesome. Yeah,
definitely,
that rivalry is always great. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play them twice a year.
yeah.
That's what I want to play home and home every year. I think it would be great for the rivalry. I think it's an easy game to schedule. It doesn't cost you a lot of money to do it. I think it's an easy travel for your fan base. Um, I do think we need to play the games on weekends though, like that weekday traffic up and down 77 is not fun. But
For sure.
yeah, that's where I would like it to go. I know it was like that in the past before I got here. Can we revisit that stuff? I guess
Yeah.
that's talk about. But yeah, no, it'll be a fun environment.
Yeah, we gotta get another trophy going on, Coach. We gotta change something up with this beehive.
Yeah. That's history. I don't know how you change that,
Yeah,
but
you can't change history, Hunter.
No doubt. Coach, want to ask you a couple NBA questions. We'll wrap up. Hornets off to a decent start this year. Have you gotten to catch any of their games? I think last time you were there, they put your mug on the big screen. It was pretty cool.
yeah, they did. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it on TV. I mean, obviously they're playing really fast. They're really trying to score it,
Yeah.
which I think that's the NBA right now, which my personal opinion, I'm not sure I love it, but like I think there's got to be some real resistance. But the game's changed so much too, and I'm sure they're trying, but it's just so different the way that they play faster, they shoot a lot of threes, like it's not that, we're talking about Jordan earlier. I mean, it was a slow down power type NBA game. Now it's get up and down, lots more possessions, attack the glass, shoot three balls, like it's just so different. We obviously want them to be successful. They're a hometown team, like
Yeah.
uh, it's just a different level of basketball. And you haven't spent too much time with them at all. We're just so busy in our own lanes. But yeah, I'll get to some games during the year and yeah, hopefully they have an awesome season. Stay healthy is the big thing in the NBA, right? It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
healthy, which unfortunately we've got some pretty big time players out around the league right now, which is not fun for the fan and for any supporter of hoops. But I guess that's part of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I saw Colin Sexton, new Hornets guard, was in your guys' gym. Did you get a chance to meet him?
I didn't. A lot of those guys are here up on campus quite a bit during the off season just to get in the gym and work on their games. And we're always open for them to be up here, and it allows some of our guys to watch them work out or join in
Yeah,
workouts. And, that stuff's always great for your development.
definitely. Last question, Coach, just because I think it's funny you sparked this debate a little bit in my mind. So Jordan is the GOAT for you. That's what I was hearing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I was talking with some friends about this. Like, I guess your generation, my parents, they grew up with Mike. Hannah and I grew up with LeBron. You think potentially my kids will grow up with Wemby. You think it's headed that direction? Because that's what it looks like to me. I mean, who's
Yeah.
you talk about 7-2 with Anton Bonk, and then you're thinking 7-5, 7-6. It just changes so much defensively paired with someone like Wemby's offensive skill. It's just ridiculous to watch
Yeah, I think there's a few things that go with it, right? Like I think their personality,
in the
their
face.
their connectability with the fan base, the public. I think that's really, really important. He he's just different, you know what I mean? Like you said, he's 7'5", super skilled, can pretty much do whatever he wants to do on the floor. Um, and he's got a great personality. Um, Maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
like I mean, he has the talent, and you got to be a real dude. You got to be tough and competitive and durable, and um, Jordan and LeBron, they're tough and durable, um, and been very consistent. And I think that's what makes them very popular, is how I guess I would put it.
Yeah.
Look, there are a lot of other guys out there that are like that too. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. Let's see what happens in what, 25 years.
Yeah. We'll check back, circle back to this conversation. Yeah. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time, man. It's always good to talk to you. And like I say, we'll be seeing you soon. I'm Hannah's on sidelines this year. Excited for that. I'll be out there. But yeah, we appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you guys having me online, and appreciate the work you do to help promote the program, and hopefully the year ahead's a really good one.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.